So today's video is pretty special. It's actually part of the recent student day that we had, in which we were talking about the energy of the coronavirus and what it is that we need to do to manage it energetically. This is a little bit of advanced work, so just listen to it, get out of it what you can, and particularly if you combine it with the meditation video that I've got currently live streaming on the Fractology website, I'll put the link to that down below, then you'll find that this will be really useful for you. But before we get into it, there is a term that I need to explain to you so that you can kind of get the most out of it. And that term is the word prion. That's prion with an I, not with a Y. It's not a computer. What it is, a prion, it's actually a tiny little piece of protein in the body. Now, the reason why I want to talk to you about it is if you just rush off and look it up on the internet, you could scare yourself a little bit because it'll talk mostly about mad cow disease. Let me explain. So in your body you have DNA, which is your genes, and then the DNA makes RNA, which is just kind of like one-stranded, and then the RNA makes the protein. So we know that there are viruses for the DNA. They're a little bit nasty. We know that there are viruses for the RNA, like the coronavirus. The interesting thing is that we don't really know a lot about prions just yet. But there do seem to be that we have, if you like, viruses that are on the proteins, and that's a little bit what prions are. So prions are kind of like little protein telegrams that go from one cell to another, and they tell that cell kind of how to adjust the cell wall so that it knows what to let into the cell and what to keep out of the cell. So in your own body, you have friendly prions in the same way as you have friendly bacteria in your gut, and you've got friendly bacteria actually in your cells. That's actually what your mitochondria are. They started life as a separate kind of like little bacteria a long time ago. But so you also have friendly prions, but that's not surprising. I mean, we do actually, not all viruses are problematic. It's one of the wonderful things about the fact that life is so interdependent is a number of life forms work together. In fact, 8% of your genome, 8% of your DNA actually started as a virus. So we know that, okay, we have friendly prions, and friendly prions are the ones that help your whole body coordinate, know what to do, know, if you like, they set up the supply for your cells. So just bearing that in mind so that you've got a little bit of an idea of what that is. So without more ado, let's get into the student day, because watching some of my students, now some of these students are all at different stages. Don't worry, I've asked them all their permission if they're okay with the ones that appear on the video, if they're okay with that happening. So without more ado, watching them go through it, even though it's a little bit more obviously advanced work, I think it will help you sort of understand that there is more that you can do about keeping yourself well and keeping yourself centered in this current state. So let's have a look.
Generally, from a fractology point of view, you just want to find the resonance of this virus. I can show it to you. Yes, it's a little bit unpleasant, but so I'm going to put it into your space, and I want you to just do, to begin with, just do what you would do with any virus if you were thinking, which is just turn up your own resonance to the max. Okay, so whether you're working with your soul seat resonance or you're working with your fractal. Okay, so this is the resonance of the virus.
Sorry.
Right, can you feel that? Obviously Angela can, but can you feel that, Marat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen can, Saab?
Yeah.
Okay, so just turn up your own resonance. Keep turning it up until you feel the viral resonance kind of back off.
quite tenacious, doesn't it? Have a grip.
Yeah, so that's my point,
Sure.
is that it will work, but you have to have this absolutely ruthless determination that your resonance is the only resonance that's going to be in your space. So I noticed that to begin with. So I've been looking at it. It's like, well, that's a little bit of a sticky, icky thing. So I don't know if any of you know what a prion is. Doesn't matter. But a prion is, it's sort of like, it's the closest thing that your own body has to a virus without it being a virus. Insofar as like a virus is really just a little piece of protein, really. But what it does is it gets into your cell and it takes over the cell's metabolism to kind of make the cell make more of itself. You know, it's a kind of narcissistic life form in a sense. But your own cells, they create these funny little things called prions, and they don't really understand them, you know, in medical science. But they are clearly very important in the way that some of the cells talk to some of the other cells. You know, they're like almost like little biochemical, you know, they're like little telegrams between the cells. Okay. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because what I've noticed is that what happens with this virus is that when it gets into your cells, it actually affects the mitochondria in your cells, which are the parts of your cells that actually enable the cell to use oxygen. So this virus isn't just affecting your lungs, it's affecting your respiration right down to a cellular level. This is just what I've observed energetically. And so I was looking at it and it's like, okay, so that it sort of started to make sense about why people obviously go into the kind of respiratory distress that they get into, because it's like if respiration isn't working on a cellular level as well as a macro level, well, then you're in deep shit. However, see, in your body, just like we can be codependent or interdependent, your cells can be either codependent or interdependent, and that has got a lot to do with the communication between your cells. So the prions in your body, these little sort of protein messenger things, can either be primarily being produced by the effective healthy cells, okay, or they can be primarily being produced by, well, unhealthy cells. Not necessarily unhealthy as in they're bad cells, but just like, for example, with my, you know, I think most of you know that my gut has been a bit of an issue for me. It's a bit of a weakness. So I've been playing with this with my gut, because with leaky gut, what actually happens from a prion point of view is most of the prions around your gut are actually coming from like white blood cells, like sort of immune, you know, inflammatory cells in your gut. Whereas when your gut's really healthy, the prions are mostly coming from the cells that make up the gut wall. Does that make sense? Or have I lost you? Anyway, don't worry about it too much. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on, right, just to start with, just focus on your own body and focus on your own prions, with the intention that your prions are going to be really healthy and they're going to support your body's own internal interdependency. In other words, your intracellular interdependency. Okay, good. Now, make sure that your prions are also tuned up to your resonance. Okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that horrible viral resonance back in your space. So, and now what I want you to do is I want you to turn up your own resonance again, but this time, you know, turn up your own your own resonance, but also turn up the resonance, your own resonance in your prions. And what do you notice?
Gee, that made a difference.
Yeah.
It couldn't grab hold.
Yeah.
It was
Basically,
hugely different.
Yeah. So that's what I found. So if your prions are, you know, so yeah, basically, I mean, you can do it just that basic thing, but it takes it's focus and intention. So it's just obviously that general focus is not, because this thing is a bit of a bugger. You need a more specific focus, but tuning up your prion seems to do the trick. So, okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So there you are. I hope you enjoyed that insight into one of our Fractology training days, and I hope that what you learned today is going to help you stay well, stay centered, stay brilliant during this very tricky time that we're going through right now. So as always, if you keep learning, keep working on being who you really are, you will, as always, choose to be brilliant.